What's going on, guys? It's Antonio here. This is my very first YouTube video. So if you guys could hit subscribe or hit the thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it. Uh, this is going to be new. This is a new experience for me. I know photography fairly well, and I really want to show you guys my skills. I also want to show you guys how to do certain things with Photoshop and Lightroom and things like that. So we are all going to be in this together. Like I said, my name is Antonio Modesto Milian. This is my YouTube channel. I'll be showing you a lot of different things. This first video that I have, though, is going to be how to edit plus size models. Plus size models have been a huge thing now for at least the last decade. There's so many of them, from Tess Holliday to Ashley Graham, and everywhere in between. And one of the things that I hate seeing is I hate seeing poorly edited models in general, but I also hate seeing poorly edited plus size models. So today I'm going to be going through the step-by-steps of taking the image in regards to that. I have some images of my wife, who happens to be a beautiful plus size model, and going through step-by-step on how to make them look the most radiant. So stay tuned, guys. This is going to be a step-by-step process. I'm really excited that you guys are joining me on this journey. I really need a haircut. It's probably not the best way for me to introduce myself to YouTube, but I'm just really excited, guys. Over the time when we're doing this, I'll be showing you different things, like protests, photos that I've taken at protests, photos that I've taken at events, also, modeling shots, headshots, things like that. So as time moves on, I will be showing you more and more of my skills. And hopefully we can get some situations where models can join in, and we can all, photograph them and show you some different tips and techniques. I'm really excited about this journey, guys. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is in my bio. Also, follow me here. Follow me on my Facebook page. That's A Modesto Photo. That's also the same for Instagram as well. But let's get started. Let's keep it moving. So here is the actual image. This is actually an image of my wife. And the first thing I like to do is just examine the image. So, we just look at it, make sure it looks good. So this is, of course, a layer. We're going to make another layer. I do everything in layers as far as Photoshop comes. And from there, we can start our editing process. Now, the first thing that I always like to do is, there's a lot of noise right here, and then, of course, there's this weird black streak that's going up like that. So we're going to crop that down and out as much as we can. We definitely don't want to chop off her arm or anything like that. And so, we're just going to wait for that to do its thing. Recently, my computer's been getting a lot slower. I'm not really sure why. I am using an older version of Photoshop, so that could be why. Who knows? So yeah, we're cropping that out down. And so, of course, I really don't care too much for like the color here. So what we're going to do is, for this, we're just going to like bring this in, bring the color in a little bit. And then, for her face, we might get rid of her chin, sharpen her jawline. And then from there, we might do a little correction to her nose, make her eyes a little larger. And of course, do some retouching of her skin, things like that. The first thing that I like to do when I start out is doing a quick camera raw filter. So basically, when it comes to the camera, you just go to filter and then camera raw. That's going to bring up kind of like a mini version of Lightroom. Basically, it does all the same functionalities as Lightroom, but it's applicable to Adobe Photoshop. So we're just waiting for that to come up. So first thing that I like to do, because there's a little overexposure right here. So overall, we're going to bring the color down a little bit. Try to like even up the tones. And notice that like there is some blue So we're gonna like bring that up a little bit to kind of bring out the richness in her skin tone. And then we're gonna bring our tint up. So the tint, we're gonna bring up that purple a little bit. So if you see the green, it kind of adds a little weird, I don't know really what to call it, but yeah. So we're gonna bring up the purple, the tint a little bit. So it just adds more richness to her skin. So, if you look at the before and then the after, you could see there's a difference there. But of course, this is not the final result, and we're gonna do a little bit more. We're gonna bring down the highlights a little bit. And then we're gonna bring up the shadow. Okay. I don't really like to mess with the whites too much, but and of course, every editing style is different. I mean, my wife is African American, so essentially when it comes to that, how you would edit a white model would be different. But some of the fundamentals are the same. So then from there, I bring up the blacks a little bit, just a tad. And then I always like to bring up the clarity. It just does something for me as far as that goes. I'm gonna mess with the levels a little bit as well, not too much. So this is of course not our finished image. So we're gonna bring up the details a little bit. I like my images to be relatively sharp. Bring up the masking a little bit as well, and then of course a little bit of the noise. Well, actually the noise reduction up also. Luminance contrast, you're gonna bring that up a tad also. One thing that I always like to do, because I like to add my colors in later, so I bring down my saturation. When it comes to African American people, a lot of times they have naturally orange undertones or red undertones in their skin. So in my wife's case, it's orange. So of course, the darker you get, the more it is going to be more of a blue. And then of course, the lighter you get, the more you're going to have a red. But in the middle, you usually have an orange undertone. So I want her skin to be super rich. So I'm bringing up the oranges just a little bit, not a whole bunch, because we don't want her to look. If you bring it up all the way, like she's been in Chernobyl. If you bring it down all the way, it doesn't look too good either. So we bring it up probably to about 5 or 6. It just adds more richness to the skin. I know some people are like, oh, we don't want to do anything to the overall saturation, but that's just not me. I'm not other people. And then, of course, you're going to bring down the yellows. A lot of lights, they automatically cast a yellow shade. Okay. And then one thing, we're not going to mess with the colors too much. Of course, this is the luminance tab. We're going to bring down just to add, again, it's all about adding richness to her skin. So, and of course, you could see like the before and then, of course, the after. So, see the skin is richer there. Okay, so we did that. And so what we're going to do now is press OK. I'll let that do its thing. It's going to put the color camera raw filter in effect. Okay, perfect. And so once you have that, you're ready to continue to the next step, which is a retouch. So of course we're going to make another background copy. And then what we're going to do is we are going to press Control I. That's going to invert the image. It's going to look weird like that, but don't worry. By the time everything is done, said and done, we're going to have a really pretty image. And then we're going to do what's called vivid light. We're going to go down to this control there for vivid light. Okay, and then we're going to apply a filter. Filter is going to be high pass. You're going to go to other and then high pass. Okay, you're going to leave it around 8.5 radius because because what we're going to do, we're doing color correction. So, excuse me, not color correction. We're doing blemish correction. So we want her skin to be nice and blemish free, but we don't want it to look artificial. So we're going to keep it around there. And then we're going to go to filter and then blur. You're going to go to Gaussian blur, or however you pronounce that. Right, and then you're going to leave it around 7 and then press OK. Right, and then you're going to press Alt, and you're going to go down to this selection tool there, and you're going to invert it. So, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your brush tool, this tool right here, and of course you can select a less darker brush. I like to bring my hardness up to 40%. That's what she said. Then what you're going to do is you're going to brush the skin. You'll notice that the skin is getting smoother. What I really should have done is go in with the spot correction tool right here first and taken out any blemishes that may have been minute there, but you know, this is just a quick edit, so right. And if you notice here, it'll show you the areas in which you've messed with. So essentially, you won't go over any spots. So what you're going to also want to make sure that you do is don't go over any of the spots that you think should be sharp, like the lips, nose, things like that. So you're going to go over her arm. And several people have told me, like, don't do editing videos, because then people will see how you edit and they'll copy you. But I'm at a point right now where, like, you know, it is what it is. If you copy, you copy. We're all kind of copying something, I guess, right? I guess, I don't know. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our background copy layer and we're going to go to the liquify tool. And then we're going to go to where this is the pucker tool. So we're going to bring in her jawline. If you look before, it was a little off, the jawline was, so we're going to bring that in. We're going to take this tool and we're going to bring this part out just a tad. So we're going to make it smaller. Bring in the chin a little bit. I've never met a model that is excited about having a double chin, so we're gonna make her body match. So like we don't want her to have I don't know. You don't want your person that you're taking images of to have a big thick neck and then like no like a big thick head and like no neck, or vice versa. Yeah, so you don't want that. Okay. Okay, and then what you're going to want to do now we're going to basically take in or brush a little bit of this area here. What we're going to do is we're going to take this lasso tool, we're going to go around, okay, or not. I really like my background to be a little darker. So we're going to get as close to the edge of the body line as we can. So let's see. Okay, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the camera raw filter again. Oops, wrong one. I'm going to click your background layer. So then you're going to go to the camera raw filter. And you're going to make the background darker. It's going to show the whole thing getting darker, but it's really not. It's just the background. So when you press OK, you'll see the background get darker, right? Okay. And so another thing you're going to do is you're going to take your filter gallery again. You're going to go to blur, and you will actually blur and then lens blur. So you can leave everything as is and then press OK. This is from previously. You're going to press Control D to deselect everything. Okay, so one of the things I really want to do again, I'm going to put a sharpening layer over this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the spot correction tool.
So I think this is actually the finished product. And plus I'm sleepy. I need to go back to sleep. So if you see where we started, very oversaturated. Well, excuse me, not oversaturated. Very overexposed, and also very not. I wouldn't say it's the best picture. It's something we took impromptu with my old camera, and now this is where we are. So more darker, definitely more sensual and nice. I should have really done some